The phone lines are on fire across the NFL. Insiders say multiple teams are begging the Browns to trade Shedeur Sanders, but Cleveland's front office has one answer: hell no. This 2026 draft drama is rewriting the league's power balance.
When was this released? This was released about an hour ago. Now, this is the current status of the quarterbacks that's currently in college football. Now, we know Arch Manning is the big time draw. Everybody is looking at Arch Manning, bro. That's what everybody want to see, right? This post states, week 3 of college quarterback trackers here. Oregon quarterback Dante Moore has been added to the tracker. Who is your quarterback? Now, say Arch Manning, 11 of 25, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 114 yards. Laura Sellers, 6 of 7, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 94 yards, 1 sack.
Proponent of Shedeur. I think he's going to be a star talent in the NFL. I think he has the highest ceiling in the quarterback room, and I do think he was slept on. So I'll give him that Shedeur has not gotten reps with the ones, and that's frustrated me. And the Browns' unofficial depth chart, having him at 4, has also frustrated me. But I don't think that's going to stay that way for long at all. Right? Pickett is on his way down the depth chart in no time. And I do think that part could be handled better by Cleveland. But don't blame the Browns for that. Every team in the NFL slept on him for 5 rounds. Heck, the Saints took Tyler Shuck ahead of Shedeur Sanders. It's blasphemous. So it's not Cleveland this time. We can't put the blame on the Browns. I see people saying, trade Shedeur so he can actually have a chance to play somewhere else. It's not Cleveland.
And the Cleveland Browns are playing a dangerous game that could backfire spectacularly. While they're out here scouting college quarterbacks every weekend like they're shopping at a clearance sale, NFL teams are literally begging them to trade away the one player who could save their franchise. We're talking about Shedeur Sanders, the same quarterback who's been putting up first-round numbers while these 2026 prospects are throwing more picks than touchdowns. But here's the kicker. Cleveland is saying hell no to every trade offer, and the reason why will blow your mind. Because what they're really doing isn't just keeping a backup quarterback. They're holding on to the future face of their franchise, and other NFL teams are starting to panic.
The way he's doing in the community, the way he's ruined, the way he's helped people that was in need, and that the way he spends time talking to kids. Listen, people remember that stuff. It's gonna be it's a huge storm coming that Shedeur got to get out on that field. And I think when he does, he's gonna do well. Right now we've seen him in the preseason. He had his good game, he had his bad game. Right now he's just sitting back, answering, doing everything the right way, just taking notes and consistently getting better. He's doing it in the quiet. Nobody's really trying to say nothing to him. He ain't really
from old Joe. That's just 2 years ago, Browns fans, that Cleveland was in the playoffs. And Ward wasn't kidding. Joe was balling in his last 5 games in the regular season. Look at this. 300 yards, 4 straight games. Nearly 400. It wasn't until the Texans playoff game where he threw the 2 pick sixes and the magical run came to an end. But Flacco, 4-1 in his last 5 games of the regular season, and was cooking NFL defenses. So it is something to get excited about, right? I like the energy that Denzel Ward is bringing to having Flacco be the starter. And we should get excited about it too, Browns fans. I know if you're like me and you want a quarterback of the future, whether that's Sanders or Gabriel or wherever Cleveland thinks gives them the best chance to build going forward, it's still a good idea to have Flacco start a couple weeks and let people learn from a...
Look, I'm about to break down something that's been driving me absolutely crazy. And if you're a Browns fan, you need to hear this. 4 different NFL teams have been calling Cleveland non-stop trying to get their hands on Shedeur Sanders. We're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, Miami Dolphins, Los Angeles Rams, and Indianapolis Colts, all making serious inquiries. And what's Cleveland's response? Hell no, we're not trading him. But here's where it gets wild. While these teams are desperately trying to solve their quarterback problems, the Browns have Shedeur sitting as their third-string quarterback. Third string? This is a dude who just finished college with a 74% completion rate, 434 yards, 37 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions. Those aren't backup numbers, those are franchise quarterback numbers. Now, let me paint you a picture of what's really happening here. Joe Burrow goes down with a season-ending injury, and Cincinnati immediately starts calling around. You know who's at the top of their list? Shedeur Sanders. The Dolphins are watching Tua struggle in Week 1, throwing 2 picks against 1 touchdown, and their fans are literally campaigning on social media for Miami to trade for Shedeur. The Rams are looking at 37-year-old Matthew Stafford's back issues and thinking they need a succession plan. Even the Colts are interested in potentially swapping Anthony Richardson for Shedeur plus picks. But here's what's really crazy about all this. Cleveland keeps saying no to these offers. And you want to know why? It's not just about football. Shedeur has done something that I've never seen a rookie do in my entire time covering the NFL. Before this dude has even taken a snap in a regular season game, he's already become a pillar in the Cleveland community. Remember that tragic apartment fire at Rainbow Terrace? While other rookies were probably figuring out where to eat lunch, Shedeur was out there organizing community events, sponsoring the Garden Valley Fun Fest, and actually showing up for people who needed help. Cleveland sports radio host Cecil Shorts said it best. "I've never seen what Shedeur Sanders is doing this early on in a player's career. I've never seen a rookie come into the league, and before he even played a snap, is already in the Garden Valley projects." That's not just good PR, that's genuine leadership. And Cleveland's front office sees it. They're not just looking at arm strength and completion percentages, they're looking at a dude who walked into a city known for losing and said, "I'm going to make this place better." Just like he did at Jackson State. Just like he did at Colorado. Now, here's where the plot thickens. The Browns currently hold 2 first-round picks in the 2026 draft, their own and Jacksonville's, so they could potentially draft a quarterback next year and still keep Shedeur. But let's be real about something. Have you seen these 2026 quarterback prospects they're supposedly scouting? The numbers from that post are absolutely brutal. Arch Manning, 11 of 25 for 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Lenoris Sellers, 6 of 7 for 94 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Drew Aller, 16 of 29 for 209 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. These are supposed to be the future faces of the NFL? Bro, Shedeur was putting up better numbers than this in his sleep at Colorado. And here's what's really wild. ESPN's own draft analysis admits that the EE 2026 class has been disappointing through the first few weeks, with no one really playing up to preseason hype. So Cleveland is supposed to trade away a proven commodity for the chance to draft someone who might not even be as good? Let me tell you something about Shedeur Sanders that a lot of people don't understand. This dude is a problem solver. Every program he's touched has gotten better. Jackson State was struggling before he got there. He turned them into a powerhouse. Colorado was a joke in the Pac-12 before he arrived. Suddenly, they're relevant again. Coach Prime said it best. He's a conduit to change. That's not just coach speak. That's facts. And Cleveland? Cleveland is the perfect situation for someone like Shedeur because they're used to losing. They're comfortable with mediocrity. But Shedeur doesn't know how to be comfortable with that. The Browns' general manager, Andrew Berry, gets it. When asked about potential trades, he said, "Honestly, it's not much of a decision for us. We have a room that we like all the guys in there. We don't really see that as a problem. We more see it as an opportunity. That's code for, we know what we have, and we're not giving it up." But here's where it gets controversial. And this is something that's been eating at me. Cleveland has this young man buried on their depth chart behind 40-year-old Joe Flacco and fellow rookie Dillon Gabriel. Shedeur is inactive on game days. He's not even dressing for games. ESPN Cleveland's Tony Rizzo went off about this, saying, "If you're not going to give Shedeur a chance, let him go." Let him go. Are they just keeping him around for SportsCenter hits? and Stephen A. Show and jersey sales? Now, I understand Cleveland's thinking. They want to develop him slowly, give him time to learn the system. Head coach Kevin Stefanski said, "I'm committed to his development, just like all of our rookies. We'll continue to focus on getting our guys better." But here's my question. How long can you keep a racehorse in the stable before other owners start making serious offers? Because the offers are getting serious. Heavy.com reported that multiple teams are willing to give up significant draft capital for Shedeur. The Dolphins are looking at their quarterback situation after Tua's rough start. The Bengals are desperate with Burrow out for at least 3 months. The Rams need a plan for life after Stafford. These aren't just fishing expeditions. These are teams ready to make real moves. And you know what's crazy? The Browns might actually be playing this perfectly. Think about it. They drafted Shedeur in the 5th round, 144th overall. Andrew Berry admitted they didn't expect him to be available that late, saying Sanders was probably mispriced relative to the draft, so they got a potential franchise quarterback for basically nothing. Now they're in a position where they can either keep him as their long-term succession plan or trade him for significant value if the right offer comes along. But here's why I think they're holding on to him. Shedeur represents something Cleveland hasn't had in decades. Hope. This is a city that's been through everything. The drive, the fumble, the decision, the move. Cleveland sports fans have seen their hearts broken more times than they can count. But Shedeur brings something different. He brings that confidence, that swagger, that "I've never been to a place I couldn't make better" mentality. And the numbers back it up. During his time at Colorado, Shedeur averaged over 3,000 passing yards per season. Last year, he threw for over 4,000 yards. His accuracy is elite. His ball delivery is next level. And despite what some critics say about him holding the ball too long, he's actually really good at protecting the football. Those sack numbers in college? That was more about having no offensive line than poor decision-making. But here's what's really got me thinking. What happens when November 4th rolls around and teams get even more desperate? The trade deadline is going to be interesting because by then, we'll know which teams are contenders and which ones are thinking about next year. A team like Miami, if they're still struggling at quarterback, might offer something Cleveland can't refuse. A contender looking for an insurance policy might make a move that changes everything. The Athletic's Diana Rossini basically said don't expect to see Shedeur on the field this year unless things get really weird. But what if things do get weird? What if Joe Flacco gets hurt? What if Dylan Gabriel struggles? What if Cleveland finds themselves in a position where they need to see what they have in their third-string quarterback? Because here's the thing that's been bothering me about this whole situation. Shedeur isn't your typical third-string quarterback. This is a dude who was potentially a first-round pick that fell because of questions about his father, questions about his personality, questions about everything except his ability to play football. And now you've got teams calling Cleveland saying, "We'll take that problem off your hands." The Bengals are probably offering a third-round pick. Miami might go as high as a second-rounder. The Rams could package picks for 2026. But Cleveland keeps saying no, and you've got to respect that. They're betting on themselves. They're betting on their development program. They're betting that Shedeur Sanders is worth more than whatever these teams are offering right now. And honestly, they might be right, because at the end of the day, this isn't just about football. This is about changing the culture of an organization that's been stuck in mediocrity for decades. Shedeur Sanders represents hope, potential, and most importantly, the belief that things can actually get better in Cleveland. So when teams come calling with their trade offers, when ESPN analysts question Cleveland's quarterback development plan, when fans demand to see Shedeur on the field immediately, the Browns' response is simple. Hell no. We know what we have, we know what he can become, and we're not giving that up for anything. The question is, are they right? Will Shedeur Sanders eventually become the franchise quarterback Cleveland has been searching for since they came back in 1999? Or will they look back in a few years and regret not taking one of those trade offers when they had the chance? Only time will tell. But right now, in September 2025, the Cleveland Browns are all in on Shedeur Sanders, and they don't care how many teams come calling. What do you think? Are the Browns smart to hold on to Shedeur despite all these trade offers? Or should they cash in now while his value is high? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of the craziest quarterback situation in the NFL right now, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon because we're going to keep following this story all season long. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Until next time, keep watching, keep questioning, and remember, in the NFL, everything can change with one phone call.